At what age did you realize you wanted to pursue music and rapping?
You know what? It started early. It probably started around 16, 15, 16. And it started when I was on the block. I was getting some shit off. I was selling my little packs. And I was always freestyling, you know what I mean? Just playing around, freestyling, spitting bars, you know what I mean? And then next thing you know, a lot of people was like, yo, you just freestyling off the top. And I'm like, yeah, I'm just, they like, yo, you should really start rapping. You sound good or whatever. You feel me? And it was just a thing that started like that. And then a year later, there was this dude called Anthony Williams. You know what I'm saying? He heard me, and he was like, "Yo, I got an independent label. You know what I'm saying? You should get down with me. You know what I mean?" So I started checking him out. You feel me? He was the first one that took me to a professional studio. You know what I mean? And when I went there, it was history, chop. You know what I mean? Then it started taking off from there.
And do you remember like that first moment that you fell in love with hip hop? Like, was there a particular thing that made you fall in love with hip hop?
Definitely, my brother, he was a DJ. You know what I'm saying? My brother's a straight B boy. He was breakdancing, DJing, popping, you know what I'm saying, freestyling, everything, you know what I mean? So the first time he put Eric B for president and I heard that
Ooh.
John, it was a rap. Look, you even know, you know what I'm saying? It was a rap and he put that on and I heard that shit. I said, Joe, I gotta do this, you know what I mean? And I just got addicted from there, you know what I'm saying? I started getting all the Slick Rick, you know what I'm saying? And Coogee rap and all that, and it was over from there. I was hooked.
What about hip hop like spoke to you in that way? Was it like kind of like just being like the message from the people that were like oppressed, or what was it? The freedom of that?
Yeah, you know what I'm saying. I was hearing the stories because back then, it was more pure. The art form was for the culture. You know what I'm saying,
Mhm.
and they were saying something. It ain't like now they just say anything, but they were speaking, and it was like, damn, they talking my language. You feel me? If I could take and do the same thing and tell my story, you know what I mean? That's what I want, the world to know my story. Everybody got a story. And I felt as though that my life is interesting enough to, what I mean, put out there and I'll get the attention of people. And that's what really, happened too. You know what I mean? Once I started rapping and putting the words into the art form and telling stories, you know what I mean? People in the hood was like, yo, you like the Puerto Rican Tupac out here. You feel me? Like, you this and that. And it felt good to, to get that compliment, you know what I mean? And that made me work harder, you know what I mean, with my pen and get my pen game up, you know what I mean?
I think that that's what's so amazing about hip hop is that, you can hear it from across the country, across the world, and be able to touch somebody with your message or be touched by somebody else's message, right? I think for a lot of people, especially in the inner cities and the minority communities, sometimes growing up in the difficult circumstances, you can feel really alone, right? And then when you hear somebody on the record saying what they do, it's like, man, it's like it makes you feel comforted in that way.
Exactly. Exactly. That's definitely true, man, because I found so much comfort in hearing other MCs that had something to say that it was like, yo, I gotta tell my story, articulate what I feel and everything I went through, man. Because sometimes, that's healing. You know what I mean? It's healing for not only the people, but it's healing to yourself. I know me as an MC, if it wasn't for hip hop, I would have been worse off, man. Because God knows I was out there wilding in the streets. You know what I'm saying? And it took a lot for me to stop the way of life I was living. And I could honestly say that hip hop was a big plus in my life.
Yeah, the things that we go through in life, a lot of times, especially as men, we're taught not to be able to think about our feelings or communicate our feelings, right? But as an artist, that's what you're supposed to do. You're supposed to become vulnerable. You're supposed to be able to reflect on things throughout your life. So when you're able to put that pen to the pad, You know, it is therapeutic. It is a way for you to be able to process those things that you've been through.
But well, that's definitely true, man.
So for you, what top five MCs like influenced you? I'm not gonna say what are your favorite. You know what? I don't know, because it's hard, because you know the top five dead or alive is this. No one's ever gonna agree. But like, who influenced you the most?
Sheesh, that's a hard one. That's a hard one. Does it got to be an MC?
Nah, whoever.
Because if I tell you who influenced the most in hip hop and who influenced me the most in hip hop, I'm gonna give you an MC and I'm gonna give you somebody that influenced hip hop for me that wasn't even a rapper or nothing. But my son, I got a son. My son got autism. You know what I mean?
Mm,
Shout out to my son Zach. And him having autism, he would say things that made me write certain songs that people love to this day. Stop hitting me. Crackhead. I had a song called Crackhead. I was talking about my brother, wrapped up in the drugs and stuff. He would be the one that be like, Dad, you gonna do a song about your brother being on drugs? Mind you, this kid has autism. You know what I mean? And he would just come out because he was my biggest fan. Everything I put on, he'll catch on and he'll want to listen to just me. He didn't want to listen to nobody. He just wanted to listen to his dad. You feel me? And he would say the things that would just catch me off guard. And I would come up with a concept to what he told me. You know what I mean? And I used to keep it quiet. And I'm like, hey, this kid's just saying stuff that's making me right. And he's like one of my biggest inspirations. And man, it got to be my son first. And then when it comes to the MCs, I got to give it to, I got to give it to, it's so hard. But I got to say, it got to be between Big Daddy Kane and G Rap.
mm,
It got to
excellent
be,
choices.
yeah. And then after that, I will have to put KRS-One in that too. You know what I mean? Somewhere in there because KRS-One was lethal when it came to concepts and stuff like that.
And he could
And then,
freestyle too.
yeah, he'll
Yeah.
freestyle. He'll definitely freestyle your head off. So
Yeah, his freestyles is better than people's writtens.
yeah, yeah, that's real, yo. KRS-One will eat you up with some freestyles. Don't even do no type of writtens and go in there and chew your ass up.
Right, right.
But yeah, you know what I mean? Like people like that. And then after that, of course, is the typical ones, the J's, the Pops, the Bigs. And some of the ones that don't get enough recognition, like J. Rue the Damager, you know what I'm saying? LL Cool J, I feel he don't get enough props due either. LL was bad, you know what I'm saying? Like
Hmm.
he was bad, even though some of them was still before my time. But like I said, my brother, used to feed me some of the older stuff, and I learned how to like some of the older stuff, the Slick Ricks of the world, you know what I'm saying? And even some of the ones that was, I guess you could say, a little watered down. Like I respected them back and then, like Kwame, you know what I'm saying? Some of the older motherfuckers and shit. That's how addicted to hip hop I was. I'm addicted to music just in general, you know what I mean? I listen to country, I listen to everything.
Right.
You know what I mean? I got an ear for everything, but I don't know. To answer your question, I guess G Rap and Big Daddy came between them, child.
See, I would say that like I could tell for you it's about the substance. So it's not so much the presentation, like the genre, right? But it's like what
Right.
you can absorb from this that is like that deep shit, that real stuff.
Exactly.
Um and I like that like you a purist, very traditionalist hip hop, like you like that
Well,
real lyrical um just stuff that really means something, man, you know.
yeah, definitely,
And
definitely.